So BMW, or even BMW, is laying off in Germany and moving them to the Spartanburg, South Carolina, I think, plant there. Now what that does, it's really jamming the Europeans. It's jamming the yen. It's jamming the Chinese. So what that's going to do is the Fed, which is a central bank in Europe, they're going to have to start dropping the value of the euro. Otherwise, the United States will get too strong and take too many jobs and damage the euro. So what's going to happen eventually, in my opinion, and this is my update on my prediction, is that you'll see the euro they'll start flooding the markets with euro. They'll start flooding more yen. And it's going to make the loonie and the Canadians, you're going to find your dollar suddenly weakening because you have to weaken it if you want to deal with the U.S. So that means those, if you're sitting in Europe or Canada or Mexico or China or Japan, your dollar's going to, your currency is going to go down also just to compete with us. So all the people working for money per se or currency, or people who are savers, my opinion is you're going to lose. That's my prediction. I've been wrong, but that's what I think is going to happen.
Gold and silver are the speedometer on the printing press, and they're just showing how fast those printing presses are going. There is no currency on earth that is outperforming gold and silver. They are all. Gold and silver is, if you measure it with any currency on the planet, it's rising.
So as a professional investor, I always look 5 years in the future. Okay?
Yeah.
And I say, will the dollar, what will gold be or silver be 5 years from now? And that's when I buy gold and silver today.
Yes.
But I've got to take a view. What most people will do, and let's say that Michael and I are right, and let's say hypothetically that gold goes to 5,000. That's when all the losers out there, the guys been hanging on to the euro or the loonie or the dollar, will say, God, gold's gone up. And again, they come roaring in.
And that's when you sell to them.
And then we sell.
And you're taking their purchase, they're transferring their purchasing power to you. There's an enormous wealth transfer going on right now.
So that's kind of my prediction for the future. So I look 5 years from now, I look at, let's say, I don't see it, but let's say I see gold at 5,000 and gold's $1,000 today. I'll take that option all day long.
Sure.
So what I'm doing is I'm shorting the dollar and long gold. That's all it means to me. It's not serious. It's just kind of a fun game. If I'm wrong, I still have gold at 1,000. I mean, so what? For other people, it's life and death, because if you're saving dollars, you're saving euros, you're saving loonie or yen or whatever you're saving, ringgit, you're in trouble. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
So what's your view, what's your prediction now that Bernanke has shown his hand? He says, I'm going to bail out Wall Street at all costs. What's your prediction?
Well, if we just continue on a path of inflation without a big deflation, you might see gold peak at like $5,000, $6,000 an ounce, and then
5 years from now.
Yeah, 5 years from now, and then settle down. If we have a wave of foreclosures and bankruptcies and it causes any contraction of the currency supply, he's going to panic. And if you read his essays on the Great Depression, he's a scholar of the Great Depression, and he's trying to prevent what happened in 29 to 32 from that happening again, 1929 to 1932, an enormous contraction of the currency supply. The Fed was late. On every decision they made, they were late. He's going to try and be early, and if he sees a contraction, he's just going to floor those things. We could see a hyperinflation. We've already been in one hyperinflation in this country back in about 1776 to 1782. And most Americans don't know that the first currency of the United States went to zero.
It was called the Continental, and that's why the saying is not worth a continental.
And it's a good lesson. We should, the problem is, he's studied the Great Depression. I don't know if he's studied everything else in monetary history, because every indication that we have from what he's doing now is that he's going to overreact to all of this. And we could literally, if we have this continuing inflation, gold should peak, the dollar should survive. If we have a little dip in the currency supply and he nails the accelerator on the printing press, you could literally see trillion-dollar amounts gold. It's not impossible. It's happened in many, many countries. It's happening in a couple of countries right now. So I think, I don't know exactly where we're going to be in 2012 to 2015, but there's a nice range there. $5,000 to trillions of dollars an ounce. So that's my range.
What about silver?
Silver should catch up. It should gain on gold by a minimum of a factor of 5. And one of the problems is everybody thinks in dollars. And you've got to stop thinking in dollars. How much stuff does it buy? And gold historically buys 4 or 5 times more stuff than it does now. I believe that you'll see gold and silver go into bubbles. So gold will probably buy somewhere between 5 and 10 times more stuff, more real estate, more stocks. Silver is way undervalued compared to gold, and it should go at least to 1/10 of gold's price. Right now it's 1/50th, and that's like a minimum. It's been out of whack for more than a century now, and this is all courtesy from the United States government. They messed with the free market system, the supply-demand fundamentals, and they made silver cheaper than it should be. They made us all think that silver should be cheap, when in fact it probably should have been around 30 bucks an ounce all through the 90s when it was $4 an ounce. They put a bunch of silver mining companies out of business by depressing the market. They were unloading a big stockpile that they had, selling it into the market, pushing the price down. Well, they're out, and silver supplies above ground are running out. If silver gains on...
Silver is a consumable industrial metal. That's
Yeah.
what's running out.
And we could very easily see it at 1/10 gold's price, 1/5 gold's price. It's possible that you could see it at the price of gold. That's sort of a range of possibilities.
So if gold is $1,000 an ounce, that means silver should be 100, and today it's at 17 or 18 as we talk.
Yeah.
So it's undervalued.
So if it goes to $5,000 an ounce and you go to 10-1, then you're talking about $500 gold, silver. And, today, 17 bucks, I mean, it's a killer investment. But what it really means is if gold buys you 5 times more stuff and silver gains on it by a factor of 5, every ounce of silver you put away today is going to buy you 25 times more stocks or real estate or, other items like that someday in the future. It's enormous wealth transfer. It's just huge.
Again, we're not saying it's going to happen. These are our predictions. This is our prediction update. The reason Bernanke's moved to save Bear Stearns and back up J.P. Morgan by $30 billion is because the real threat was a $46 trillion derivatives market that would have crumbled on us.
That's the size of world GDP. It's larger than a whole year of business and services on Earth.
That was just Wall Street betting that much with funny money. And I think the reason Bernanke is scared is during the Great Depression, 1929 and 1933, or whatever it was very simply the Federal Reserve attracted the money supply, and what deflation came in. Ben Bernanke is more afraid of deflation than inflation.
Absolutely.
You can solve inflation, you cannot cure deflation. So they don't want prices to fall, they want prices to rise. So that's why those of you who are saving dollars or euros or loonies or whatever you're saving in, I think in 5 years you'll be losing. That's my prediction. Good wrong. But that's why when we were buying silver and gold, silver at $5 and gold at $300, everybody said you're crazy.
Yeah.
Now we look like geniuses.
I was trying to tell people to buy silver and gold back then. It was like beating my head against a brick wall. You couldn't get anybody to buy gold at 300 bucks an ounce. It was like, oh no, that's the worst investment you could possibly make. It's been going down for 20 years.
Yeah. So this is our predictions. And the last thing I'll say about this is gold and silver go in cycles also.
Yes.
And generally the 20-year cycle. So the 20-year cycle burst in 1980 and it drifted down and it hit 2000. And so our prediction is if it goes in the cycle, it should keep climbing to the year 2020. So that's why you should be now preparing for 2015 more than 2020.
Yeah.
And if we're right, and if the cycles hit, that means you should become a seller around 2015 and convert into cash and buying real estate and nice Ferraris and that kind of stuff with an inflated dollar, if we're right. So all things go up and all things come down. I think we have a good run from 2008 to 2015, and it'll be a good time to watch, see if we're right or wrong. So that's our prediction.
Yep.
So thank you for watching.
Thank you.